So I think I'll start now. So good evening everyone for coming onto this info session and briefing. Yeah, thank you all for taking your time on a Monday evening to join this call and to understand more about the application process of being a peer mentor in PH. I'm Jocelyn, the peer mentor lead of Pioneer House. And together with me, I have Dr. Tan and Prof. Senthil. So they are the RFs in charge of PMP, as well as I have one current PM, Ivan, who will be doing a sharing very soon. So I think without further ado, we can invite Ivan to actually give a short sharing about his journey as a peer mentor, as well as certain things that he would like to share with the PMs. So Ivan can take.
Okay, so let's start next slide. So let's start the self-introduction. So okay, next slide. So I'm Ivan, a current PCT4 peer mentor. So I will start my presentation with roles and of PM lah. Okay, next slide. So as a PM, right, you should be resourceful. There will be 4 to 5 PM in each PCT, and you should aim to be the one reliable and trustable PM for your residents to reach out. And the first job for you is to serve as a cluster leader. So basically, you oversees the welfare, mail collection, and give residential advice to your residents when needed. Then the second thing is about pastoral care. So you organize cluster and PCT activity for your residents, and then you will check in on their well-being, especially during exam seasons, because it's really, really stressful for them. Then the third thing is about peer mentoring. So you all know that we have the peer mentorship program, right? So you should utilize your peer mentor network to support your mentee, as they might come from different course and all that. So they might need advices from the seniors. And this all combined to a overarching goal, which is the community development. So PM actually serve as a positive role model to develop the PH community. Yeah, next slide. Okay, so these are the pictures of my personal experience lah. So the first one is my cluster dinner, it's a combined cluster dinner. Then the second one is a sit-in with mentor. And the third one is the PCT Mid-Autumn Festivals. So these are something that you can expect when you are serving as a peer mentor. Okay, next slides. Then we also had our PCT karaoke, PCT West Coast Park picnic, and also a combined sharing, the PCT-wide combined sharing of SCP and NOC mentoring. Yeah, next slides. Okay, so these are the key values a peer mentor should have, which is consistent and proactive. Because not every resident will be very like enthusiastic in joining events, so you might need to consistently reach out and check in on their well-being. That's where you show your empathetic also, because when they are trying to tell you that about their conditions, you should be empathetic and understand them and give constructive feedback also. And then the next point is realistic because you have limited budget. So how to maximize your budget and host the best events for your cluster so that your cluster is bonded is one of the key things you have to consider. And also inclusive. So as a peer mentor, you definitely want to be inclusive and welcome everyone to your clusters and give them a kind of like sense of belonging in Pioneer House. And the last thing is cheerleader, because they basically you are the one who join every resident, so you have to be the one who start up with the conversation, and a cheerleader will definitely help you. Yeah, next slide. Oh, okay. So this is just a slide reminding everyone that peer mentor is not a unidirectional thing. It's actually a bidirectional learning process. So when you are communicating with mentee or your cluster mate, you're actually teaching them, and also you are also learning from them. For example, like I have a pizza mentoring, right? And actually also don't know how to make pizza, but yeah, by hosting this kind of events, I actually learn something new and also learn how to interact with people. So just bear this in mind when you are applying for peer mentor, like you're actually learning something from your mentee also, because there will be like 15 different people in your clusters and also 75 different people in your PCT. So you can learn a lot from these interactions. Okay, next slide. Yeah, actually that's all from me lah. So just all the best for your application and just yeah, enjoy your journey. Yep.
Thank you, Ivan, for sharing. So, hopefully this gives you like a better insight of insider of how is it like being a peer mentor and having a peer mentor to share his journey with us. So yeah, I'll just move on to more administrative things. So for the application process, so many of you are interested in, what is the application process like to become a peer mentor. So after this session, there is actually a post session quiz regarding about the details and content of these sessions. So as such, this session will actually be recorded. So applicants who miss this session can actually rewatch the recording, or you yourself can also rewatch the recording, as this recording will actually be sent to PH White. Yeah. So but of course, if you are attentive during this whole briefing session, I think it's more or less enough and sufficient for you to actually get a satisfactory score for the quiz. And also to take note of, I will be sharing the correct session code for this form at the end of the session. So there is only one right answer for the correct session code. So you will need to watch all the way, or you need to stay all the way for today's session to actually get to know what is the code. And on top of that, you should have received an email from the management team regarding the application form as well as the sign up form for briefing. So all of you here actually sign up for the briefing. As such, I'm being able to contact you and to email you this the link for today's session. So together with that email, there's also an application form, and this application form is around 30 minutes. So do allocate enough time for you to sit down and to structure your thoughts and whatnot before you start on this application form. So for this application form, it's basically for us to collect personal particulars, as well as for us to get to know you and your motivation behind signing up to become a peer mentor. So on top of submitting both the quiz as well as the application form, what happens after that is that the residential life office will actually check on your results. One is released, so it's released on 24 December if I'm not wrong, as well as they'll check against your demerit records on their end. And then if you pass that stage, they will actually will invite you for interview rolling basis. And if you make through all these stages, we'll give you an offer at the end of this application process. So many of you are curious about what are the requirements for peer mentor. So yeah, let me just briefly tell you the requirements that we have. So firstly is to have good academic record. So we would hope that the peer mentors are able to guide the freshmen in a peer mentorship program academically and non-academically. So we will hope that peer mentors are also able to help in the academic aspect, but also, they themselves in year 1 or year 2, regardless of which year you are in, are also able to balance your workload together with this extra commitment that you are going to commit to for the whole entire academic year. So yeah, so just a brief note, if you don't have your CAP score yet, so this likely applies to the year 1s where you don't even have a CAP score yet because the semester hasn't ended. Please insert an NA in the application form, and we will request for it once it's out after 24 December. So secondly, of course, being a role model, a leader, as what Ivan has shared, we would expect the peer mentors to have good disciplinary records. So this includes no demerit points or any kind of offense that someone have conducted. And thirdly is you may only serve one student body in any given academic year. So if you are a peer mentor, you cannot be a RA or you cannot be a SC members. So yeah, but one of the important thing to bring up is that you can actually serve as a PM and IGL concurrently, and we do have PM actually serving as an IGL in this current semester. Okay, so a few important things to take note is that peer mentor is a 1-year live-in position. So what this means is that a peer mentor must stay in Pioneer House for the whole academic year. So you are not allowed to go SCP, NOC, or overseas exchange during the academic year. So I'm aware that SCP are usually 1 semester. So you cannot apply for peer mentor if you are only wanting to serve 1 semester, and then the other semester you go for exchange. So hope that make it clear that this position is a 1 year, 1 academic year commitment. So there will also be training sessions in summer holidays that are mandatory for all PMs, and more details will be given at a later date. So I will dive a little bit more about this later on in my slides. And I just want to emphasize, I actually mentioned in one of this slide that, you may leave the country, but not for a prolonged period, that it affects your ability to serve the residents. But one thing to take note of is that although we don't restrict PMs to, they have to come at the PH by a certain time, or we don't restrict them on when they want to go overseas. PMs are not allowed to travel or to be absent during the first 3 weeks of each semester. So in semester 1 and semester 2, so it applies to both semester, PMs are not allowed to travel. And this is actually to aid in terms of facilitating residents and shifting back to PH, and to helping the bonding of the residents in the cluster or in the PCT. So I'll move on now to PM roles and responsibilities. So for this academic year, so AY 2425, the year that we are currently in, for semester 1 structure, so the PMP team is formed by myself, the peer mentor lead, who lead the program and guides the PM. And this is with the help of vice leads of PMP, which also help to facilitate an execution of the program. And then, of course, we have a pool of 43 peer mentors, including the vice lead, who actually work together in a PCT, as most of you are in, to provide academic and student life guidance to residents, community building enrichment, as well as provide proactive pastoral care. So for PM's responsibilities, yes, as mentioned and emphasized, that PMs would need to serve as a good positive role model to the residents and in PH. And also you need to attend and participate in various key PMP events. And on top of that, you have cluster leaders' duties, which is what Ivan has mentioned about mail collection and whatnot, as well as duties as a mentor, as a peer mentor to your mentees that are under you in this peer mentorship program. Last but not least, a little bit more on the administrative side is that peer mentors are required to submit a monthly reflection piece on every single month basis. So the idea of this monthly reflection piece is to actually help the management team to connect with the peer mentors. So in a sense that, we are updated about, how they are doing in their PCT, in their cluster, and also to understand how they are, learning and how they are processing in this whole entire leadership journey from month to month. So as a cluster leader, as mentioned, their duties are like mailbox management, as well as fire warden, and to address as well as report residential issues. And on top of that, we also organize social and mentoring events according to PH core values. So I believe that most of you, or in fact, all of you should have actually experienced these social mentoring events, be it in PCT or cluster level. So these events are actually organized by your peer mentors. So as a mentor in this PMP, you'll be assigned mentees, so specifically freshmen who are interested in developing certain aspects in their university life. So you will guide them to appropriate resources as well as opportunities, and provide academic and student life support. One important thing when we say support as well as to provide them guidance is actually not to solve their assignment questions, but it's actually to journey the whole process of integrating the university life, or to actually, help them to seek ways to actually explore different options rather than directly just, giving them the assignment questions and whatnot. So hope this clarify that, a peer mentor is not really like a chatbot, or it's not really like a teacher where you are expected to solve their assignment problems. More of like to journey with them and to help them feel better, in terms of, listening to them, or, giving them feedback, giving them advice. And last but not least, with all these, peer mentors actually organize mentoring events for their mentees. So as mentioned just now, there are actually mandatory trainings that the peer mentor must commit to during the summer holidays. So such trainings are like induction programs for student leaders. So these are typically held on Saturday afternoon, both Zoom and in-person session in June to July. So you have to commit yourself to this program, because this program is actually to help peer mentors to meet up with other student leaders that you'll be working with throughout the whole academic year, as well as for the different leads and as well as management to teach you on certain processes that are actually crucial for your event planning or in critical thinking. So skills and knowledge are actually being taught in this entire induction program to perform well as a PM. And secondly, you will also need to attend a freshman orientation program, both the dry run as well as the actual camp itself in NUS. And both the dry run and in-person FOP are actually held physically in NUS. So you will need to make sure to make yourself available during that period of time. So as a PM, benefits. So some of the benefits that you're wondering what a PM will get is that they will get up to 30% of housing rebates. So this is really, really subjective on your performance. And we have a rubrics on basically how much a peer mentor is awarded to. And it's actually openly and transparently shared with the peer mentors when we brief them during the induction program, so that they are aware of how the so-called rubrics is like, the rebate system is like. And of course, we also gain professional transferable skills and knowledge, including leadership, cross-cultural as well as inclusion skills, communicating skills, as well as group facilitation skills. So apart from the benefit, I think on a more serious note, failure to actually perform what is written in the terms of appointment, or to that you actually broke one of the housing rules. What happened is that PMs as student leaders of Pioneer House are subjected to 2 times demerit point for housing rule offense. So failure to fulfill the roles and responsibilities, terms of appointment, and even expectation of being a peer mentor will subject the peer mentor to disciplinary action, which may result in immediate termination of appointment, withdrawal of accommodation in PH, as well as you have to pay part or whole of the hostel fee for the period of appointment as a peer mentor. So yep, so I think we just need to make it upfront that being a peer mentor is yes, you are guaranteed a year stay, because you are here to actually help to facilitate certain bonding as well as to grow the residents in terms of their own development. It is also very crucial for PM to uphold certain conduct about themselves, because they're actually representing PH, and the freshmen might associate PH at first with the student leaders that they see. So considering that, the impact of PMs not being able to fulfill the expectation as well as the terms of appointment is much more severe than a usual residence. Okay, so with that, if you have any questions, you can actually direct to the PM lead email. This is also shared in the email that was sent out by the management. Okay, so for the last thing I have for my slide before I hand over to the residence fellow to actually share a bit, is that as I mentioned at the start of the session, there is actually an information session quiz. So don't open the quiz first, listen up to me first on what's this quiz about and how is it like. So it's mandatory for all applicants, including those who are watching the recording. So if you submit the application form, the 30 minutes application form without the quiz, we wouldn't proceed your application, because it's not complete for that stage. So you have to submit both the 30 minutes application form as well as this quiz. So for this quiz, the rules is that you can scan the QR code or you can type in the URL for the quiz, and you may complete any time before the PMP application deadline by the end of this year, which is 31st December 2359. And you have to complete the quiz within the with the correct session code. So the session code is PMP 2526 exclamation mark. within 8 minutes. So this 8 minutes will actually be timed. So if you open a quiz now, I think they will actually prompt you to press a submit button or a start button. So if you press the start button, the 8 minutes will auto count down for you. So if you are in an environment that you are not being able to do the quiz in 8 minutes when you're rushing and whatnot, you can't read properly, then I would suggest you don't do it during that time and to prioritize this at a later date before the PMP application deadline. So I hope this make things very clear and very fair to everyone that the information here is transparent, and as much as possible I've told you on several things to look out for, especially since it's a timed quiz. Okay. So I think before I pass the time, is there any questions from the ground? You can feel free to unmute your mic or actually type it down in the chat, and I'll see if the RFs or myself can actually answer it. May I just give like 1 minute or so?
Can I ask something?
Sure.
Yeah, it was about you said there were some summer training sessions in like June or like July something. I just want to clarify that, um, are they all like Zoom or in person? Because I may have like already have commitments in the summer, so I'm worried about clashes in timetable.
Okay, so
If it has to be like in person stuff.
typically for Saturday afternoon in June, it's usually most of our induction program is usually held online. I think we want to be understanding to international students who are having finally taking the time like to go home and whatnot. So during in the June, most of our session actually is actually held online, but there will be a few session, or I would say a few session, the dry run, the FOC itself, as well as one IPSL session, which is the last one. It's actually the closing symposium for IPSL. Is held physically in PH. So I think I think it's good to make plans if you are applying for this, and I hope this helps a little bit. As of like which date and what time, I'm afraid I can't give you any more details as of now, because I think it's still in preparation like period, and it might be a little bit too early to talk about it now as well, because the next student leaders who are going to conduct this would need to have their own internal like discussion as well.
I see. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I see a few a few questions in the chat. So, how is the performance of peer mentor evaluated? So, thank you for your question, Matthew. So, maybe I can just briefly share on, there are two aspects that we evaluate a PM in terms of I think you are mentioning about the rebate, if I'm not wrong. So for that, we actually split it to quantitative as well as qualitative. So for quantitative, it's more of like, do you meet your minimum requirement for, organizing certain events? Or do you meet your requirement of attending on key participation events? And yeah, do you do your leaders duty? Do you submit your MRP? So these are pretty quantitative, where I can tell you confidently that I can count that, hey, you attended all, hey, you missed one, hey, you are late for all, and I can back up by in some sense numbers. And for the qualitative side, so this is usually graded, or this is actually looked upon by the RFs. So the RFs would be the one grading this qualitative segment. So basically there will be a series of like interactions or even questions to find out more about the peer mentors journey so far, and at different stages, as well as their reflection pieces to see how they are like in terms of their leadership journey, their leadership growth. And yeah, so I would say that the evaluation is parted into two ways, which is quantitative as well as qualitative. Okay, and Jordan asks, where can we submit our academic transcript if we submitted the application form before results are released? Okay, so if you submit before the results are released, you're gonna put an NA, or maybe it's not even updated. So what happens is if you made it through the next round, the residential life office will actually contact you. So they will actually ask you, to actually either to send it over or to upload it on a particular link. So for that, you can you can just wait for the email from the residential life office. And in terms of CAP requirement, are they referring to pre-SU or post-SU CAP? Okay, for this, I'm not really too sure if it's pre-SU or post-SU CAP, but I think to play safe, what I would recommend you to do is actually to email into the residential life office, because for CAP requirement, I think as student leaders ourselves, we are not allowed to know. So any application form that you guys are actually filling up are actually sent directly to the residential life office, where we have two managers, Miss Jean as well as Miss Suyen, who are actually overlooking this. So maybe if you're curious about the CAP requirement, feel free to actually email in to Pioneer House, and they will actually help you and answer you in terms of gradings requirement. Okay, to on a previous question raised, may I clarify whether inavailability to attend in-person session will compromise our PM application success? Context is that you'll be on SEP till mid-July. So unfortunately, it is mandatory for all peer mentors to actually attend, and failure to attend will actually result in usually what we'll do is we'll give the candidates a few options. So and we respect both options. One is actually to find ways to actually come back to Singapore to attend the session, and secondly is actually um to we respect that certain SCP or certain programs that you guys are in even in overseas internships are important. So what we'll do is, or what we'll recommend is for you to continue, but you will terminate your offer as a peer mentor. So I think through this session, and hopefully during the interview as well, the interviewer will be very explicit on laying the expectation, which is that it's mandatory for all PMs to attend the training sessions. Yeah, so we don't give any exceptions, especially if it's planned. So it's like SEP or overseas internship. Yeah, because I think this information are given to you right at the start. So hopefully this will help you to plan your time wisely. Yeah, plan your time wisely. And I have another question on summer trainings and FOC dry run. Will international students be given accommodation in Pioneer House? So for this, the peer mentor role is actually so you start having this position in PH for academic year 2526. So unfortunately, during FOC dry runs as well as the summer trainings, it's during the summer holiday. And summer holiday is actually tied to the previous academic year, which is AY 2425. So in that sense, unfortunately, it's not there will definitely be accommodation that are available, because what we'll do is usually we'll ask the PMs if anybody need accommodation, and then we can probably give you a room. But the thing is, there won't be any subsidy, or there won't be, so it will just be the full 100% that a normal residents will pay during a summer break. Yeah. So hopefully this make it clear that the peer mentor position only starts when the academic year starts. And prior to that, any programs, any trainings, any icebreakers or bonding sessions is not part of the peer mentor the peer mentor in the academic year. Great, thanks all for the questions. They are really useful questions that hopefully help everyone to understand more about the whole structure as well. Okay, I have a question on SU. Yes, understand. Okay, over 4 years. Okay, yeah. I understand your concern about SU, especially with this, the encouraging of you to SU at the end of the academic year. So, with regards to this, as I mentioned, I'm not very clear on the 4.2 whether it is pre or post SU. So, if it affects you and you would like to find out, I would really recommend you to just email in the residential life office. Yeah, and then to make a decision when the residential life office actually asks for it. And also, since you are on this topic about when to ask, right? It is always good to ask early, right? Because there is no harm in asking early, as well as to prepare yourself, in case of, certain things that you need to do to prep yourself, all the way to when the residential life office actually asks for a transcript. So, what is the interview format like? So for the interview format, from what I can share, so for the interview format, it will be held in semester 2, and then what will happen is that it's in person, and then you guys will just come down and meet the interviewers as well as the resident fellow, and then we'll just have like a conversation of your life in PH, your motivation, just like any other interviews when you apply for internship or you apply for a particular position. Yeah. But of course, this is a peer mentor program in PH. So of course, we are all tailored. Our questions or the thing that we want to find out from you is tailored to PH experience and as well as how you can contribute back to the community, etc. Okay, I think yes, I think I will proceed on with today's info session first because I don't want to drag too long. If you have any question, please feel free to email the PMD email, and then I will reply to you as soon as I can. Okay, with that, can I invite the RFs to actually share a few words with the the people in the call?
Maybe Hihon wants to go first, or you want me to? Sorry, you are muted, Hihon.
Okay, I would like to perhaps I would like to say something about leadership first, because this position that you are applying has to do with leadership. As a student, you are part of the leadership that you can perform, and we know that in terms of leadership, as you have understood about leadership, there are different kind of styles, right? You have people who are a bit more authoritative. You have more people who are more participative, or even you have heard of servant leadership, or even things like visionary leadership. But what leadership does is leadership will create the environment. So for you to participate as a leader, as a peer mentor is a leadership position. You will create the PH environment. So you must understand that very well. And the activities and duties that you are required to perform, just like what Jocelyn had shared, especially those that is a bit more quantitative. It might appear to you as a very mundane thing or even a checklist thing. But you must understand, for all the actions that you participate or even contribute will develop you as a person and develop your leadership skill. And I would like to talk about leadership broadly. There are certain things that you need to kind of do. One of the things that you need to do in PH is to be active, right? An active leader, meaning you will be there to encourage your fellow residents. You'll be there to engage your fellow residents, and you would like to cheer the fellow residents on. We all had good days and bad days, the days that you can cheer other people on, you're performing this leadership role. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't mean that you have to be a PM to be a leader, right? But if you are given this role as a PM, it's more important for you to do the necessary, and so as to showcase what you can develop as a leader. And later on, all this leadership skill that you have kind of learned and obtained through this role that you're given is as good as those internship that you go through, and it's as good as your industrial attachment or any overseas learning opportunity that you might have. So the PM role is something that I want you to take seriously. And sometimes we see people who take PM role as a ticket to a confirmed stay, right? I don't want you to do that, because this leadership skill that you're developing will help you more than this 4 years or even this 3 years that you have with PH, but it will just take you on throughout your life as you learn more and more how to be a leader, right? So one thing about active leader is you're cheering, you're a cheerleader, and you need to make genuine connection. Meaning, if you take it upon yourself that you want the PM role just a ticket, just to be a ticket for you to have a confirmed stay, then I think the attitude is ought to be re-examined. And so for that, your quality that you need to develop is how you engage with people, how you communicate with people, and to show your appreciation for each other, right? People appreciate you and you appreciate others. This is a very important thing when it comes to active leadership. The other kind of leadership is a reflective type of leadership, meaning you have to reflect on who you are and the why that you are contributing, right? So you must have a sense of awareness. The sense of empathy is very important. And for that, you need to develop quality like observation, right? You need to engage and pay attention to your fellow residents and observe, especially in moments that they are in need. You must take on the active role to engage them. So these two leadership styles go hand in hand. It doesn't mean that it's exclusively being practiced. So I want you to reflect on all these qualities, right? And you must practice this humility that you can kind of engage anyone and everyone, rather than to be a very absolute or even authoritative. The worst thing is I'm more right than others, right? So this is not leadership. The leadership is to form an environment that is good for Pioneer House. So all these qualities are not weighted and they are not siloed, but all the qualities are being very dynamic. So this is what I want to share with you, and especially so that if you treat this position well, this position is as good as all the attachment that you might just want to apply for, so as to enhance your learning in this candidature that you might have in NUS. That's all I want to share. And if you have any questions, you can raise it. If not, I'll pass the time to Prof. Senthil to elaborate more on what he wants to talk to you about.
Sure. Thanks, Ihon. Really, you touched upon a very important aspect of leadership. It's very, very important, and we value the role of a PM in PH, because PH, it is PM role is actually the backbone of PH. Because you have everyone is in the floor taking care of the residents, and it is a very important role that everybody is willing to come forward to take up. Pastoral care is actually a very distinctive aspect of Pioneer House. And, our PMs play a very crucial role in ensuring the well-being of the residents. This is something which I feel that it is very, very important. I'm very happy to see so many of you are coming forward to take up this role, and sincerely putting your time and commitment to serve PH. This is very important. As Professor Ihon mentioned, it's not just securing an accommodation, I think what is important is, it's a journey that you're going to go through in order to take care of the residents. That's very, very important. I'm sure this journey will be very rewarding, and I wish you all the best. We look forward to your applications. Thank you.
Thank you, Iris, for sharing. So, if not, then yeah, I think that wraps up the end of today's information session. So do remember to submit the post quiz as well as your application form by the deadline. And yeah, I wish you all the best in your application as a peer mentor. Thank you.